Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening wherever you are in the world. My name is Stumma98 and welcome to my Mastering Sonic P06 Silver Flame Core beginner tutorial. Before watching this video, I highly recommend watching my Mastering Sonic P06 beginner setup guide, as that takes care of all of the miscellaneous things like explaining what camera volumes are, turning cutscenes on and off, dialogue on and off, what jump dash type to use, and all of that stuff to set up Project 06 for speedrunning. Additionally, I recommend watching my Mastering Sonic P06 Silver movement tutorial, as that goes in depth on every single ability that Silver, Amy, and Blaze can do. This video is going to be broken up into two segments, with the first segment being a non-commentated version of the speedrun route, and then the second segment being a commentated version of the speedrun route, where I am going to be pausing, rewinding, and basically explaining the entire route down to the finest detail. Without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Silver's Flame Core. I hope you enjoy. All right, welcome to my commentated portion of the Silver Flame Core beginner speedrun route, where I am going to be pausing, rewinding, and all that stuff to dissect this route to a pulp. Before we begin, I do want to say that Flame Core is one of, if not the hardest stage in Sonic Project 06, especially to learn. Silver's mechanics are already widely different than how Sonic and Shadow play, and are a lot more technical, which makes his routes a lot more difficult in that aspect. But Flame Core is also just a difficult stage in general. It's a massive difficulty spike from Kingdom Valley, or really any of the stages in Silver's story, and definitely outclasses any of Sonic and Shadow's story, where the gameplay is a little bit more homogeneous between those characters. Beginning here, we are going to start as Blaze, where we're just going to go through a little bit of automation, and then right as we gain control of her, we are going to turn to the right. The reason we do that is we can actually jump over this little wall here and completely skip the rest of the automation, and then what we're going to do is we are going to just fall right onto this little platform here. We're going to grab this shield because, you know, it's always good to have a shield in case we make mistakes. Besides, it transfers over to Silver anyway, and we take that automation and switch over to our psychokinetic boy right here. Once we switch to him, we're going to do a teleport dash over to this platform with an item box, wait for our gauge to refill, a teleport dash over to this platform, and then what we're going to do once our action gauge refills enough is jump and initiate a hover to land on this curve right here as part of like the end of the wall running segment. Now, it's very important where we actually land here. Of course, you want to be to the left of those spike balls, but you also don't want to be too far to the left because as you can see here, even on this part of the curve, Silver's feet are just barely underneath where it is. And if you go too far to the left, you are just going to ram right into the wall and end in a fiery doom. So once you kind of get where this zone is to where we can actually cling on to this wall, we're just going to hover right into it, and then we are going to do a double badnik bounce, similar to what we did at the beginning of Section 2 of Kingdom Valley, where we did a badnik bounce off of that enemy. This is a double bounce because he's so large and we can gain a bunch of height, and then we are going to immediately turn to the right over to this spring right here, hit that, and then begin our first combat sequence. I'm going to be doing this combat sequence in a more advanced way, but if it's just not clicking for you or for some reason Silver's psychokinesis just isn't working the way you expect it to, I recommend just going to the enemies, doing a psycho shock, picking them up with RT, and then placing them down with RT, which automatically kills them. But I'm also going to explain what I do here to do the combat a little bit faster. What we're going to do is grab this firebox and then do a jump so that way it cancels our forward momentum, and then throw it at this lizard here. That's going to destroy him, and then we're going to do a psycho shock and then pick up this lizard here. We're going to place him so he automatically dies. Then we're going to jump in between these two enemies and grab them both with our psychokinesis, and then either you can press RT and immediately destroy them, or you can chuck them against this bird here. When you chuck these guys, you want to be aiming to the right at this wall, because if you throw the enemies into the void, there are no invisible walls or no kill planes for about 3 or 4 seconds. And the enemies don't actually die when they're thrown with Silver Psychokinesis until they hit a wall or a kill plane. So you want to aim them against the wall so that way they die as quickly as possible if you decide to throw them. Then the next wave of enemies is going to spawn, and we are going to line ourselves up with this lizard and the worm right behind and fire a psychic knife. Now, I accidentally turned the camera too far there, but that's okay. We can just charge up another psychic knife and go ahead and destroy that worm. And then we're going to badnik bounce into those two enemies, which is going to complete the combat section, run through the door, do a teleport dash over the chasm, hit the rune, which opens this door. Now, coming up to this portion, this is probably the hardest part of the stage. I am going to be using the claw grip. That way I have access to the right joystick with my thumb, and I will be pressing the A button with my index finger. If you remember the claw grip, it's a special way to hold the controller that a lot of different speedruns use, this one included. We used it in White Acropolis as well, if you need a little bit further explanation on that. So what we're going to do here is we are going to jump past this rune onto this platform, and then right here is where I swap into the claw grip. I'm going to angle the camera down, and then I'm going to jump for this flyer here. Once I jump, I am not going to let go of the A button. I'm going to hit that Iblis flyer, which is going to gain us a bunch of height, and then we have to aim to where we're going to land on the head of this Iblis flyer that's right below Silver. The reason we have to land right on the head of this Iblis flyer is that it does matter where you hit the enemy, like where on the hitbox you hit the enemy, to get the highest badnik bounce possible. To get the highest one possible, we have to hit the head of this enemy, which is why we had to badnik bounce off the previous one to get the height we needed to get on top of this guy. We're going to hit him, and that is going to give us enough height to where when we get to the apex of our badnik bounce, we're going to let go of A and initiate a hover here, which is going to send us right over to this spring, and this spring is going to send us right into an invincibility capsule. We're going to use that invincibility to just obliterate these Iblis flyers here, and then we're going to take this spring and head on to the lava river. Because we are invincible, we can just run right on the lava with no consequence. It doesn't even slow us down. Avoid these platforms and do some teleport dashes to gain a bunch of speed. Once our invincibility runs out, we are going to hop onto the left side there, take that platform, hover over here, and do a badnik bounce up to this second combat section. What we're going to do is we're going to grab this box right next to us and throw it at this enemy. It's pretty easy to do this compared to the first enemy formation that was earlier in the stage. But if you miss the box, that's totally okay. You can just do a Psycho Shock and pick up or put down the enemy to destroy them. But we're going to defeat that one, and then we're going to run right in front of this fire geyser and then juice up into ESP mode. The reason we do that is we are going to want ESP mode for the rest of the stage, and because of all the enemies we defeated beforehand, we have maximum duration of our ESP mode. As you can see, the maturity meter is full down in the bottom right. The reason we line up in front of this fire geyser here is we are right in line to charge up and throw a psychic knife at that lizard. Then we are going to stand right next to that guy, have ESP mode automatically stun him. I did get a little too close, but that's why we grabbed the shield when we were Blaze. Then we are going to pick him up and chuck him at this golem. The reason we do that is if we did a Psycho Shock next to that golem, we would run the risk of destroying these fireboxes. We don't want to destroy them because we can stand on top of them and then do our teleport dash a little bit early through this hallway here. We're going to land right next to this worm. He's automatically going to get stunned. Pick him up, put him down. You know the drill. Activate the rune. Hit this checkpoint. Do a teleport dash. We are still in ESP mode, so we get that 33% discount. Then what we're going to do is aim for the platform that has the cage on it. You can see it right in front of Silver there. If you want to, you can use the claw grip and angle the camera down in order to see where the platform is when you fall. But we're going to fall right onto this platform. Our ESP mode's going to run out. We're going to wait for our action gauge to refill and then badnik bounce off of the guy standing on top of the cage so that we can make it over to this platform easy peasy. Gonna hover there, do a teleport dash here, wait for our action gauge to refill, and then teleport dash our way into section 2. Once we enter section 2, we're just gonna fall all the way down this shaft, and then do a quick jump and Psycho Shock over on this worm, pick him up, put him down, activate the rune, as we've done 2 times already in this stage. Jump through here, then what we're gonna do is skip activating these runes and just jump across these platforms here because we are in Project 06, so Silver's way faster. Then we're just going to jump and hover, activate this rune, wait for this door to open, and as you can see, I don't do it in all the doors just because there's so much going on in Section 1 of Flame Core. It's not really a small optimization I think about, but it is better to be on either side, either the left or right of these doors, because as you can see, the doors are it actually is a little bit dark. I'll probably raise the brightness. So because the doors are a little bit curved, we want to stand to the left or right, and that is going to get us into the next room a little bit faster. Hit that checkpoint. We're going to do a teleport dash right here, activate the rune, wait for the door to open, stand to the left or right so we can go through nice and quick, activate this rune, which toggles this platform here. Then what we are going to do is we are going to raise this platform, or have the platform there and ride it up, and then activate that rune to activate this platform. Then what we're going to do is jump over here, jump here, jump here. Then we are going to do a badnik bounce off of this Iblis crawler that spawns right there, or Mephiles crawler or whatever, and then just run straight over to this rune, bypassing our friend Bill there. We're going to wait with Bill while this door opens, jump right through, hit the checkpoint. Then once we get to the edge of this platform, we are going to jump and do a teleport dash. We are going to teleport dash to the right of this platform. If that the platform is a little bit narrow, so if you're not comfortable with doing that, you can just teleport dash between the worms there. Same effect, Silver usually doesn't get hit, and you may still have your shield from section 1 anyway, so it might not matter. We are going to just run right past here, hit this rune, and as this door is opening, we are going to activate our ESP mode. Now, you can activate it before the door fully opens or jump over and activate it. It doesn't quite matter. Once this dialogue box triggers, so I actually recommend having the dialogue on for this stage so that way you can know, that is when the Iblis fire waves start happening that come out of the core here. We're going to use that 33% discount to fly all the way over to the first wall platform here, and then we are just going to jump and run our way over to the second one. If you are fast enough, you should be able to get right behind this platform as the first fire wave passes, and that hopefully will be the only fire wave that you see in this section. What we're going to do is activate the rune, jump across these platforms right here, and then what we're going to do is behind this firewall, if you are a little bit slow, you can wait behind this firewall for the second fire wave and then try this afterward, is we are going to aim Silver right here. We want to slant him just a little bit, kind of at a 45 degree with the wall here, and then we are going to do a teleport dash over to this spring. You have just enough height where Silver's just going to ram his face right into that spring there, and then take us through some automation to get on top of the ball of Iblis here. We are going to hit the rune that's on top of that, destroying the core of his power, or whatever, I don't know, the story, once and for all. And then once the core is destroyed, the lava hardens and we don't have to worry about taking damage. And then we're just going to teleport dash our way over to the goal ring, completing Flame Core in just over 4 minutes. I really hope this tutorial was helpful for you. Thank you all so much for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.